Hi everyone, and welcome to join me, Caroline Palm, together here with XMReality CEO Jörgen Remmelg.
Good morning everyone.
We're here to discuss our latest interim report. So we want to get down to the first question right away. What do you think about our general performance in the last quarter?
Well, I think it's a quite okay quarter. Compared to the same quarter last year, we have grown the order intake 72%. I think that's a very good number. If I look at the annual recurring revenues, it's up 22%. It's also a okay number. Within the annual recurring revenues, we also note that compared to the previous quarter where we had the contraction with this big customer, we have now been able to recover 30% of the licenses we did lose. So again, in summary, a quite okay quarter.
We start seeing that things return to a new normal post the pandemic. At least here at XMReality, we start working from the office now. Is this anything we can see at our customer sites too?
Yeah, okay, let's hope that things continue in the positive direction now. I think compared to the pandemic, it's much easier for us to get in contact with the customer base. They pick up their phone, they answer the email. So I think it's pretty similar at the customer side as well. Of course, some of the bigger industrial companies, or maybe most of the industrial companies that do hardware manufacturing, they fight the lack of components, right? Logistical issues with containers being where they should not be. So in that sense, I do believe that some of these problems that they have are more pressing than buying remote guidance from us. Trade shows are back, which is positive to us. We have attended 3 trade shows last month. Yeah. We're looking at attending 3 more in November, in fact, now. So that is positive for us, and that will build our sales pipeline. And so in general, I think it's positive. Some ups, some downs, but in overall, I do think it's positive.
In the report, you mentioned that many of our customers go from being in a pilot project to becoming subscribing customers. Can you explain how this transition works?
Sure. So to implement remote guidance in your organization will be a change project. So you need the people with you, so you need the champions identified, and you also want to justify your return on investments, which for us is typically 6 months. But those KPIs needs to be on the table. You also decide how you cascade out the change in the organization. We participate in training and guiding the customer in the right direction, and also setting up those metrics and tracking those metrics early on. So you do that pilot project, typically 3 months. Following that, there is a 1 to 3 months, I would say, evaluation process. So you ask the organization for the hard KPIs, the soft KPIs, and following that, the customers typically enters a subscription phase. And when I say typically, I would say as long as we get the customer to a pilot, about 90% of those would enter a subscription phase following that.
It sounds like a good way to get started with XMReality.
Yeah, it is.
We also see that some of our customers increase their number of licenses. Can you give examples of who these customers are and how they scale up?
Yeah, 2 good examples are Danone and Assa Abloy. Both companies are companies where we have already done the pilot phase and the initial subscription phase. And now, obviously, these companies have many sites all over the world. And it's a possibility and an objective for us to light up as many of these sites as possible through a good small introduction now, training together with the company to allow and create the environment for a very good use and introduction of XMReality remote guidance. So again, I think 2 good examples of global organizations where we are scaling up.
Mm-hmm. So this is a part of our global framework agreement work?
Correct. I mean, the global framework agreement for sure helps when you want to do this because the only thing that we need to receive from the new site or new legal entity or new business unit would be a purchase order, and then based on that standard framework agreement, and it's a much easier contractual handling for us and the customer to go into those additional licenses.
We are very happy to add 2 new team members to our company, Alexander Sandström and Andreas Jonsson. What will they bring to XMReality?
Well, both of them bring a significant intellectual capital to the company, which in general is good for a company. So, Alexander Sandström, Chief Technology Officer, his task will be to make sure that our product is competitive out there in the global marketplace. He has great experience from his previous life with Amazon, working with Prime Video, and I think it's one of our most important assets, i.e. the product is. And really, we need a good product idea, and we need to execute that corresponding product development as soon as possible. So I'm really looking forward to this. So Andreas Jonsson, well, he is also a very capable person, has also a very strong track record. His job as a Chief Business Development Officer will be not only to create new sales channels through partnerships, but also to create new business models so that we bump up our top line, the order intake. And again, I really look forward to start working with the whole team now as we get it formatted for the future.
Tekniska Verken, Växjö Energi, and E.ON are examples of customers within the energy sector. Is this an up-and-coming vertical for us at XMReality?
I think so. Now mainly Swedish, right? These verticals are not too different compared to the oil and gas vertical, which we're in already, and also the housing sector in UK. We will now focus on trying to tick off more of these on the Swedish market. If that is successful, I would say we go for the global market in the next step. So, yeah, we're working it, and let's see. I think 3 companies so far is not too bad.
AB Inbev, the world's largest brewery, placed a significant order with us in the last quarter. But why wasn't the order bigger?
You wanted more, right? I think it's a good start. Well, indeed, it's the world's biggest brewery. It is within our favorite vertical, food and bev, where we know that we create great value. We have good KPIs. We have lots of use cases. We have a model for how you scale up in an organization. The first order now covers 40 centralized service technicians. They are located in Leuven, outside Brussels in Belgium. Right, so they will serve the breweries in the European sector. But I do think what's more important here is that this is a framework agreement for the European sector, which would allow us to light up additional breweries in that organization, similar to what we have done for Danone and Assa Abloy. So I would say that tick in the box, global framework agreement, we have the first couple of use cases, and now the work starts.
So now we'll work hard to increase the number of licenses in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And with that, we'd like to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you after the end-year report.
See you then, and goodbye.
Bye.